Ever wonder about the strangers who slide into the back of your car? Those anonymous faces, in and out of your life in minutes, each carrying a story, a secret, a destination. But what if some of those stories were just too dark to tell? What if the passenger who just left, or the one about to get in, brought with them not just baggage, but a chilling legacy of pure terror? I'm Alex, and this is my life on the road, where the real danger isn't the traffic, but the faces I wish I'd never seen. Get ready, because your next ride might be closer than you think. Driving for an app is a weird gig. You're usually alone, but you meet a ton of people. Thousands of moving faces, each with their own thing going on, their rush, their secrets, their own demons. You kind of become a temporary confessor, a quiet listener to other people's lives. You see it all, couples arguing, drunk folks losing it, happy families off to vacation. But after a while, you learn some stories aren't just everyday stuff. Some just stick to you, leaving a cold spot in the car's AC and a nagging question in your head. What the hell was that? I'm Alex, and today I'm opening the door to 3 rides that still mess with me. 3 passengers who showed me that behind the normal facade, horror can be just one trip away. The silent ride. It was a Tuesday night, pouring rain, probably around 2 a.m. The city was asleep, and the car radio was my only company. I got a ride request from an old, almost abandoned neighborhood, known for its crumbling Victorian houses and a few urban legends about a demolished asylum. The pickup spot was a dead-end street, super dark, where the trees seemed to whisper secrets in the gloom. I pulled up, my lights blinking, but no one showed. I waited. 5 minutes dragged by, the app telling me to cancel. But there was something, a feeling, weird quiet in the air, heavier than the rain. Then the back door on the passenger side slowly creaked open. Not like my car, but like a rusty 100-year-old hinge. I couldn't see anyone. It was too dark inside. I leaned over trying to peer in, but all I saw was a deep emptiness, like the darkness had swallowed all the light. I was about to ask, "Hello? Anyone there?" when the door just clicked shut. Softly, almost silently, but unmistakable. A shiver went right down my spine. Then the app updated, passenger on board. I was alone in the car, but the app said a trip was in progress. The destination was an abandoned hospital on the outskirts, about 20 minutes away. I swallowed hard and started driving. The silence in the car was crushing. No music, no GPS voice, just the sound of tires on the wet road and my own strained breathing. The back seat felt like a vacuum of temperature, a few degrees colder than the rest of the car. And the smell, a subtle, damp smell, wet earth. And something else, an old floral perfume like wilted lilies at a funeral. Every now and then I'd check the rearview mirror. Nothing, just darkness. But I felt a presence back there, an invisible weight that made me want to floor it, to just get out of there. The drive felt like forever. I kept my eyes on the road, but my mind was stuck on whatever was invisibly sitting in my back seat. Finally, I pulled up to the abandoned hospital. The building, with its broken windows and graffiti-covered walls, looked like a monster in my headlights. I stopped the car. The app popped up. Arrived at destination. Rate your passenger. The back door opened again. Same creak, same emptiness. No sound of footsteps. No shadow stepping out. Just the smell of wet earth and lilies that intensified for a second, then vanished into the rain. The door shut. Trip ended. My heart was pounding like crazy. No payment, of course. No passenger. But that ride, that silent pickup, it taught me that some presences don't need a body to leave their mark. The Secret Collector. This one happened on a hot, humid summer night. I picked up a passenger downtown, a middle-aged guy in a pristine suit, but he had this heavy vibe about him. His eyes were dull, lifeless, and he carried an old leather briefcase that looked like it held something incredibly valuable. He asked to go to an address in a fancy residential neighborhood, but with a twist. "Don't use GPS," he said, his voice raspy and low. "I'll give you directions. Turn left here. Go straight until the 3rd gnarled tree. Park exactly in front of the house with the red door." He directed me through winding, confusing streets with a precision that freaked me out. He wasn't looking out the window, but at the briefcase on his lap, like it held the map to his own soul. The silence was only broken by his curt instructions and a metallic click from inside the briefcase like a jewelry clasp. I tried to make small talk about the weather, traffic, but he just gave me one-word answers or a blank stare in the rearview mirror. We arrived at the red-doored house. It was an old grand mansion, but strangely dark, without a single light on amidst the glowing houses nearby. He turned to me in the back seat, and his eyes, which had been so dull, now seemed to hold an unfathomable depth, like bottomless pits. "You're a good driver, Alex," he said, his voice a whisper that seemed to come from far away. "Do you keep secrets?" The question caught me off guard. Sure, sir. Discretion is part of the job." He smiled, a cold, humorless smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Good, because I collect secrets." He opened the briefcase, and what I saw made me gasp. It wasn't jewelry or money. It was small, dark wooden boxes carved with strange symbols and sealed with old wax. He picked one up, the smallest one, and opened it with reverent care. Inside was a single, tiny, almost black human tooth. He held it between his thumb and forefinger, the streetlight making it glint eerily. "This is the secret of a man who killed his own family on a whim," he whispered, his voice almost a purr. "The weight of his guilt contained here." He gave this to me in exchange for a rest. He closed the tiny box and put it back in the briefcase. He picked up another. "This," he said, opening a larger box, revealing a rusted gold ring, "belonged to a woman who sold her soul for beauty. The secret of her vanity and the price she paid." He continued box after box, revealing macabre objects: a lock of hair tied with red string, a bone shard, a stained piece of fabric, each with its own horrific secret, its own story of despair, betrayal, or cruelty, and each, he claimed, given willingly by its owners in exchange for some form of peace or absolution. I was sweating cold. The air in the car felt heavy, laden with the echo of tormented lives. He closed the briefcase and handed me the fare. "Remember, Alex," he said, his eyes locked on mine, "we all have secrets. Some are too heavy to carry alone, and sometimes you need someone to collect them." He got out of the car, the briefcase held firmly in his hand, and vanished into the darkness of that unlit mansion. I sat there, the car idling on the empty street, the air still thick with the voices of dead secrets, wondering, what kind of rest did he offer? And what exactly did he do with those secrets? The passenger lost in time. This one happened a few months ago, late at night. I got a ride request from a downtown hotel. When I pulled up, a woman was waiting on the sidewalk. She looked like she was from another era. She wore a long navy blue dress, an old-fashioned cut, and her dark hair was pulled back in a formal bun. She wore no makeup, and her eyes had this unsettlingly vivid, almost feverish gleam. She seemed scared, like she was lost. "Please," she said, her voice soft but urgent, "to 13 Maple Street. And hurry, I need to get home. He's waiting." I started driving. 13 Maple Street was an address in an old traditional neighborhood, but I couldn't recall any specific mansion. She was visibly agitated. She kept looking out the window as if the scenery was changing before her eyes. "Everything's changed," she murmured to herself, more than to me. "The buildings, the lights. Where are the horses?" I tried to calm her, explaining that cities evolve, that the world had changed. She looked at me with an expression of dread, as if I were speaking a foreign language. With every turn, her anxiety mounted. "This isn't the way. This isn't the way home. My husband will worry. He promised he wouldn't leave me alone again." I started to get really worried. She seemed genuinely disoriented, maybe suffering from some mental condition. We arrived at 13 Maple Street. It was an old, well-kept house, but perfectly normal looking. I pulled over. "Here you go, Mom," I said. She looked at the house, and an expression of deeper confusion settled on her face. "This isn't my home," she whispered, her voice filled with disappointment and growing fear. "My house. It had an iron fence, a white rose garden, and the door was dark green, not this red one. I tried to explain that maybe the address was wrong or the house had been renovated, but she shook her head. Her eyes widened, fixed on something I couldn't see. Suddenly she screamed, a high-pitched, terror-filled shriek. "He's not here! He didn't come! Oh God, he left me again!" She started banging on the window, desperate. "Get me out of here! Please, get me out of here! I need to go home! I need to find him!" I was panicking. I tried to reason with her, ask her where she did want to go, but she just kept repeating, "My house, the one with the white roses and the green door. He's waiting for me, he promised." I tried to call app support, but my hand was shaking so badly I couldn't dial. Meanwhile, she kept screaming. That's when a neighbor, alerted by the commotion, came out of her house. An elderly lady, her face creased with concern. She approached my car. "Everything all right here?" she asked. The woman in the back seat stopped screaming and looked at me. There was a glimmer of hope in her eyes. "You know where my house is, don't you? The one with the white roses?" she asked the neighbor, almost pleading. The neighbor shook her head, a deeply sad expression on her face. "My dear," the neighbor said, her voice soft and gentle, "your house, the one with the white roses and the green door, it was torn down over 50 years ago, and your husband, he waited for you for a long time, but he passed away in 1968. The air in the car froze. The woman in the back seat went pale. Her body seemed to shrink. The feverish gleam in her eyes died out, replaced by a terrible emptiness. She didn't say anything else. She just slowly faded. Not into dust, not into mist, just became transparent. Her dress, her hair, her face. In a matter of seconds, she was there, and then she wasn't. The back seat was empty. The smell of wilted roses lingered for a moment, then was gone. The neighbor, looking at the empty seat, sighed. "She comes here sometimes," she said, her voice almost a whisper, "always looking for her husband, always lost." She was a ghost?" I stammered, feeling my blood run cold. The neighbor looked at me with a tired compassion. "Or a soul who doesn't know time has passed, my dear. For her, time stopped the day he left her. Some losses are so great, not even death can break them." I didn't charge for that ride. I couldn't pick up any more passengers that night. That encounter made me question the very nature of reality, of time, and of love itself. What's scarier, a ghost or a grief so profound it defies existence? The scariest road isn't always the one to death, but the one that binds you to a memory that refuses to die. So next time you hail a ride, think about it. Who will your next passenger be? And what story will they bring with them? Or perhaps what secret will they leave behind? Do you really think it's just an app? Are you sure your back seat is empty right now? If you've had a bizarre or inexplicable experience on a ride, as a driver or a passenger, share it in the comments. And if you had the guts to listen to the end, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stories that should never have been told.
If you enjoyed this creepy story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more chilling tales every week. Stay spooky!